Right, so good evening to you all. Well, all two of you. People do tend to dip in and out of these things, so we'll see. Anyway, I'm Sandy Mays.
And I'm Mike.
And just by way of a bit of introduction, we were both trained at the Arthur Findlay College in the UK, where we have run a school of mediumship and various workshops, done readings and healings, and we, pre-COVID, worked at all 5 of the Champneys Health Resorts in the UK. We've also run holistic wellbeing and natural crafts festivals, but again, we can't do that at the moment. And we've done 12 working tours of Australia and a few things in France, as well as extensively throughout the UK.
Obviously, since COVID, everything's been brought online now, Zoom, which is great. We first, when Illuminations, you guys went into lockdown, Illuminations put everything online on Zoom. So we started to work for them. Also, again, in the UK and in Australia, we're working on Zoom, which we quite like. It's quite nice, really.
Well, actually, Zoom is a very positive thing of the COVID situation. For us, it has removed all barriers. So our UK mediumship classes now have students from, unsurprisingly, Dubai and Australia and all over the UK. So for us, it's been a bit of a blessing, really. The other thing we do at Illuminations, apart from webinars and readings and healings, we run courses in mediumship, which we'll talk a little bit about later on, but we take people from just with their basic mediumship abilities all the way through to being able to work professionally and teach it if that's what they want in 3 separate courses.
So the difference between clairvoyance and mediumship, this is what this webinar is about. We will be stopping at some points for questions. We've also, of course, got the chat box. We actually prefer people asking questions and talking to us. We quite like that because we like to hear your voices. It doesn't matter if you don't want to. It doesn't matter if you don't want your camera on, but it's quite nice if you want to as well. Like I said, we've always got the chat box.
But we do like interaction with our audience because that actually gives you more scope for getting what you want out of it. So please feel free to communicate with us at the appropriate times in whichever way is best for you. So mediumship and clairvoyance. So why have we put these two together like this? The reason for that is that there are some very general misconceptions of what these mean. So when we first started working in Dubai, we realized that clairvoyance largely seemed to mean bringing through ascended beings, guides, angels, that sort of thing. But there didn't seem to be much emphasis on communicating with other human beings or with the spirit world. So mediumship covers all of those topics. Mediumship is a huge umbrella under which clairvoyance sits as one of 6 senses, higher vibrational senses, which you all have. So therefore you will find that clairvoyance will become a part of this webinar, whereas mediumship will be the predominant subject, because that's how it fits.
Okay, and we're going to talk about the uses. I'll talk about the uses now of mediumship. So there's many uses. The readings for a start. There's psychic and spirit. So the psychic, we will be talking a little bit more later about the psychic energy, reading one human being to another human being. So using your energy field, just reading one human being to another. And the spirit side, which is reading the spirit energy, which is the energy of a person who's had a physical life existence like we do. The physical body has died, and the spirit energy, with all its characteristics, remains. We can also use this in channeling. I'm not sure how you perceive channeling to be, but it's channeling sometimes of words, wisdom, maybe higher beings, just channeling through words and wisdoms through us. And we can also use this for healing. I use this, the mediumship within my healing, which we'll talk about later on how I do that and how mediumship works really well with healing. Because realistically, it's still working with energies and spirit. And if you're doing a reading for somebody, you're actually giving them healing as well. So that's all part of
that's because the word heal means to make better or make whole, and this is all part of that.
So who can do it? There's a question for you. Just take a few seconds to realize this. Who can do this?
What do you all think? Who can do this? Does anybody here think they can work as a medium or do mediumship? Are you going to get any answers? Maybe not at this stage.
Well, the answer to that is everybody. Everybody in the world is a medium. Everybody in the world is a healer.
These abilities, natural talents and abilities, lie very often latent in people, but they are there. And we often find people coming to us because they've got a little bit of an inkling of something that they're aware of and they're not sure about. And once that happens, then we can take those natural talents and abilities and we can nurture them and allow them to flourish as much as the individual actually wants them to. So how does it work? Because you've got these abilities, how do you get them to work? What is it? So the first thing I want to clarify here, particularly because this is Dubai, there seems to be a lot of tarot reading goes on there. There's a little bit in the UK, but not so much as you have. Tarot is reading people and situations, but it is a mental process. It is dependent on the mind, and the mind interpreting certain information which perhaps comes out of the cards. And it is definitely mental. People think about it. With mediumship, we really don't think. And any of our students who say, I think, when they're working, we say, no, hang on a minute. Don't think, feel. It's all about feeling how you feel, feeling how other people make you feel, how situations change how you feel. Because remember, your feelings are the truth. Your thoughts are manufactured. And when you are feeling things, sensing things which are not of this world, that is where your clair senses or your higher vibrational senses, of which clairvoyance is one, that's where they come in. And that's where you get to start recognizing what you're already doing. But we will sort of bring that on. We will heighten it. We will fine tune it. And that is what we do in our jobs. We are actually picking up information and using it. So let's show you how we do this. We're going to use some illustrations here. And forgive us if we're preaching to the converted, but we don't know you. So we're just going to cover a few things. So it all starts really with the energy field. So every human being has an energy field around them, which this diagram shows. For the point of this talk, the colors don't matter. They do have significance in readings of the actual energy field. But in terms of mediumship per se, it doesn't matter. What you need to recognize and know is that you have an energy field surrounding your physical body. And that energy field is fastened to your physical body at the 7 energy control centers called chakras. So this is the actual structure. So just let me ask Mike something. Have you got that picture?
Yeah,
of
I
you?
could do that
so
quite quickly.
We can just show you a picture of Mike's energy field. So this was taken with what used to be called an aura camera. Some people still call it that, and we call it we would prefer to call it an energy field camera. But you will see around his photograph this sort of egg-shaped light, and that is his energy field. And it was these photographs, photographs of energy, which gave us the ability to prove to you, you do have an energy field. It was discovered by a Russian in the 1920s called Clairvoyance. Now, of course, it's on laptop and various other applications. It's very widely known, but this is the actual proof that you do have an energy field. So if we just go back to that other shot. So there you are, the human being, energy field around them, and showing the 7 control centers, the chakras. So if we just Move on. So those chakras are illustrated here in this rather strange picture, but it does pretty graphically show where the chakras are situated within the physical body. And you will notice or observe that they are the colours of the rainbow. And that is their actual location within your body. And they are connected directly into your nervous system. So you'll see that behind each one, there's a big group of nerves. And those nerves are picking up information from your chakras, which is information from the energy around you. It is transmitting that through the nervous system, right up the spinal column, into the brain, and giving you an impression. So there we have how the mind, body, and energy is integrated. So it comes in through the energy field, into the chakras, into the nervous system, up to the brain. And then we have, this is how human beings actually work. This is how you are operating. And this is how you can actually pick up information energetically, which is very detailed, accurate information about people around you or people in the spirit world.
So daily life, integration of mind, body and spirit and healing. So daily life, everything in our daily life happens to us. And it comes through our energy field, through our chakras, up to the brain, through the nervous system, and it causes impressions. All sorts of things happen to us in our daily lives. Bombardment, all sorts of things. And it shrinks that energy field. And it interferes and unbalances our chakras. And it goes through the nervous system and makes us anxious or whatever it makes us do. And up to the brain and causes an impression. A bit like when you meet somebody for the first time. You instantly seem to know how they feel, whether you like them, whether you don't like them, you know, whether you're not sure, or it may be a room, all this sort of thing. All this is you blending of these energies through your energy field, and you're picking up this through your chakra system, through the nervous system, and the brain sorts it into an impression, and that's what happens. Healing, it's the same with healing. What the healing does, healing means to make better, make whole, if you like, make one. And again, so when you're giving somebody healing, because we all need healing, believe me, virtually every day we need a little bit of healing, because again, everything that happens to us in our lives upsets this balance, if you like. So what healing does is it sends that healing energy through the same sort of system as we have here, and it balances, rejuvenates the energy field, balances the chakras, and synchronizes your body, if you like. So like having a big service done on your car, a major service done, it retunes everything and repairs everything, ready for the next time, ready for the next year. And obviously things are going to upset you during the year. That's why you need sometimes to have a little bit more healing, interim service, if you like, throughout that year to help keep you in tip-top condition and well balanced. So that's that.
So what Mike's talking about here is actually, he's sort of completing the picture of a human being and how we operate energetically. Of course, we have our physical senses feeding information in, and that also goes into the nervous system and up to the brain. So we are continually, as human beings, we are like radar dishes picking stuff up. But when it comes to mediumship and reading energy, which is what mediumship is really, then we need to look at this system. And so far, we've just been looking at an individual human being on their own. So let's have a look at what happens when we have two human beings. Let's see what goes on here and how this explains how psychic reading is going to happen, which is kind of what Mike was talking about then. He was talking about subconscious psychic reading, but which is what everybody's doing automatically. But here we're going into the realms of conscious psychic reading, which is actually called mediumship. So here we've got two human beings in their energy field with their chakras shown. The reason that the human being on the right has a solid column for the chakras is to represent the fact that the chakras are all interconnected. So if one of them is off balance, it will have an effect to the chakras on either side of it, and so on throughout the stack. I mean, chakras is an enormous subject. We're not here to teach you about that. But I would advise you to have a look at it, because it does help you understand how you operate. But for this exercise, this is just about where the chakras come into play with mediumship. So they need to be balanced in order for you to pick up the signals accurately. So on that blend of energy there between these two people, the energy fields are blending, because when we meet somebody, let's say we meet someone at a party and they stand next to us, well, automatically the energy fields are blending. And across that blend of energy there's an exchange of information. So the person on the left, let's take that one as an example, is collecting information from the person on the right through that blend of energy. And that is transmitted through the energy field into the chakras, into the nervous system, up to the brain, and an impression is formed. So this is what Mike was talking about, that when you first meet somebody, you go, I like you, I don't like you, I'm comfortable, I'm not comfortable, or maybe it's a house, anything where you're reading energy. And this is how you get this impression. And unless we've got any people here who are working as mediums already, and I don't know at this moment in time, but assuming you don't, you are doing this subconsciously all the time. Now, when I do readings, I am going to start doing it consciously. So I'm not just waiting for something to come to me. I'm actually, if I'm sat with a client, I'm going to be reading, in the case of Zoom, the energy of the voice, which matches the energy field. And that is going to give me information about the person that I'm sat with. And this is going on with all of you all the time. But this is also, there are effects in life. Let's just come away from mediumship for a minute. Let's make this sort of user-friendly on a daily basis. You may notice that when you spend time with certain people, they have different effects on you. So you can have a coffee or a drink with someone, and you went into that meeting feeling a bit down, let's say. And after sort of 3/4 of an hour, you leave that person, you come away, and you think, oh my goodness, I feel so much better. I mean, it can work the other way, by the way. But what has happened there is that you have picked up energy of an emotional type from the other person. It has affected your emotions. On the other hand, you might spend that time and you might feel drained at the end of it, because that other person is an energy thief. Their energy is sucking yours away from you, because you've got such nice energy and the other one wants some of that. So you come away feeling drained. Maybe that other person is talking to you, offloading on you. It's all taking your energy. And this is part of the effect of energies blending. And this is how mediumship works. It's the effect. How does somebody else make me feel? It's like the ABBA song, knowing me, knowing you. You can't know somebody else unless you know yourself. So if you know how you are feeling, and then somebody else comes into your energy and changes it, you'll know it's them, not you. Particularly if you keep an eye on how you're feeling through the day, just check in with yourself. How am I today? How am I feeling physically, mentally, emotionally? And then just observe who or what changes that as the day proceeds. And this is, you might think, well, why is she going on about all of this? It's because it's the basis of mediumship. It's what everybody does all the time. It's what everybody's affected by, which is the reason that you are all mediums. You all have this basic ability. And some people describe it as telepathy, this energetic exchange. And this is what the primitive indigenous peoples do, like the Aborigines. And they still do it. They are literally mind readers. So it's just very, very primitive. It's been on this planet as long as man has been on the planet. But it kind of got lost along the way. And now people like us, we're actually using it in readings and healings, but we're also using it to teach other people how to use this ability to improve their lives. So in everybody's energy field is everything about their past, their present, their future potential, and their life purpose. Now, I can only talk about what I do when I read people. So if I'm the one in the middle there, thank you, show who I am, that's me. And the one on the left is my client that I am reading. Through that blend of energy between me and the other person, I can pick up all kinds of information about them. Now, when I read, I'm not very interested in their past unless something in their past is affecting how they are in the present. The present, by the way, is the most important thing. It's the only thing we can be sure of. But sometimes events in the past affect our behavior in the present. And that is worthy of comment. If we pick that up in the energy, we point it out. So we have a UK client who actually can't remember large chunks of her childhood. And that is affecting how she makes her decisions in the present. She just has these blanks. She's not operating fully, if you like. So that is a relevant thing because it's affecting how she deals with change. And when I read somebody's present, I'm not interested in the detail of what's going on in their lives because that changes all the time. I'm interested in how they're dealing with it. How do they cope with change? How do they cope with something that throws them off balance? And very often how they cope is a strategy which is constant, it's habitual, and it often originates from the past. So there we can link up past and present quite successfully. I also ask my clients, is there an area of your life you would like me to look at while I'm doing this reading? And they might say to me, oh, can you look at my relationship, please? Well, in the energy field, I can find the energy of their partner because people who are close to us leave an imprint on us. And I will be able, as my energy goes further in, to understand perhaps why the energy of the partner and the energy of my client is either very compatible or perhaps not compatible. We can do a bit of analysis on that. And other areas might be career or family. But that's when I go in depth, when I've actually said, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to look? The future is always future potential. And this is a bit of, perhaps some people say dangerous ground, because a lot of people want to know the future. What's going to happen to me? Am I going to do this? Will I sell this house? Will my husband leave me? Will whatever it is, will my children be healthy? Should I move my career? Should I move my location? It is not possible to categorically tell the future, which is why the word potential is in there, because everybody has free will. So whatever I sense coming up for someone, and I might say, it is likely that you will have the opportunity to, all of these words that I use, but I will always leave the final choice with my client, because the choices that we all make today create our futures. We are in charge of our lives. And one of the things I strive to do is get people to realize that. So that's the sort of the future potential area of the energy. And I will also find in the energy the person's life purpose, because we all have natural talents and abilities we were given, which were given to us in order that we could carry out our life purpose. We all came to this planet for a reason. And it is in the energy as to what that reason is. In a full 1 hour reading, I will find it and I will tell my client, but I'll always say, this is up to you. And actually, a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about here within your energy field, you are capable of reading it yourselves. You've just forgotten how. So it's like bringing that out in you again will empower you. So investigating your mediumship can be quite a powerful process. So everything I've been talking about up to now is all about psychic reading when I'm reading another human being. But I am helped with that psychic reading by a couple of people in the spirit world who've chosen to assist me with this. And they're usually joined by people who belong to my sitter, people of theirs who's passed on. So that empty energy field there represents a spirit person who comes into my energy, and through that blend there that you're looking at, that affects how I feel in the same way human energy does, so the spirit energy does. And if the spirit person is doing their job properly, then the information I receive and I pass on to the client should enable the client to say, oh, I know who that is, which means the spirit person's been identified and they have a voice and they can give a message. So what you're looking at here on this picture is what we call the keyboard of mediumship. So when we teach it in our courses, this is what we use, because this is all there is to it. This is what mediumship is. It's the effect of energy on energy. How does it make me feel? That's all it is. And people say to me, well, isn't there anything else? Is this it? And I'll say, yep, this is it. It's like the keyboard of a piano. It never changes. It's the same. These are the white notes. These are the black notes. This is how they relate to the music. What changes is the person who plays the piano and what they put into it and how much they practice. To use mediumship to its fullest extent, it's always going to be this diagram that is making it work. But what's going to change it is the person who's using it. How aware are they? What are they saying? What's their style? How much do they do this? So it's all down to practice and the character of the person. So that is the keyboard. So I think possibly, you were going to talk a bit about the results on this process of bombardment and blockages, weren't you?
So I'll put this back up again so that you can see where we are with this. I was going to talk about the blend of energy, which we've talked about, but also information about thoughts and impressions and evidence and how this is in bombardment. Again, as we spoke before, what happens is everything's coming into our energy field. So every single day, all these sorts of things are coming into our energy field, whether it be TV or phone calls or the media, watching news, whether it's a not very nice phone call, whatever it is, all these things, work, how you're feeling any one particular day, children, everything comes into our energy field and has a big effect on us. So all these things are bombarding us here all the time, and they're coming into our energy field like that. So what happens is it makes your energy field shrink, really tightens up, and we can't really feel good with that. We need to express, we need our energy fields to be big and right out here somewhere instead of all shrunk. And it also unbalances the chakras. So these chakras here work like little miniature cogs, if you like. So the first one, say, like, it works for male and female slightly different, but say the first one for a female is going clockwise, say, and then anti-clockwise the next one, then clockwise, and then anti-clockwise, and so on. So supposing here in the solar plexus you get anxious. Maybe you've had a phone call that wasn't very nice, somebody's ill or whatever it is, and you get really anxious and it hits you right here in the solar plexus. So if this solar plexus is going around like that, all happy, all of a sudden it slows down and it becomes all murky and it becomes upset. It's going to affect the next one, because the next one, like this cog, is going a different way. So that is going to affect that, is going to affect that, is going to affect that, that and that. And that's what happens to us. And that's why we get this off color, because they've all got a different color. So we get the off color feeling, we get the feeling not feeling very well, all this sort of thing. So what we need to do basically is keep our chakras and our energy system in tip-top condition,
which is healing.
Which is
healing.
Right.
I think we've talked long enough. I think it's time they talk to us, if they will. So what we would like is some questions from you.
Either in the chat box or preferably
questions, comments.
There's somebody driving now. I hope you're not driving and
yeah, I think he probably is. That's all
driving
right.
as well.
They do that a lot.
Drivers as well as look at us, are you?
Right. So if you want to unmute and ask any questions, and please remember that a question asked and answered is information or a lesson for everybody. It's not just for you. And we have lots of information we can give you. We try and give it in a general way, but obviously you all have your own opinion about this. You all have your own beliefs. So let's have some questions from you. Is there anything in the chat box? Have you looked?
No. And driving can't put in the chat box.
No, he can't. No, you can talk to us. We won't. We're not really scary. We quite like it when people talk to us. It's human communication. Looks like no, it looks like we might not get any.
No questions.
So yet. Can we assume therefore that up to this point you have totally understood everything we've said?
That's good, because the exam papers will come shortly.
Now we've got something coming, maybe. Unless it's the
it?
gentleman.
No.
You got a question?
No.
No. Okay.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening.
Oh, yes, he has. Okay.
Are you listening to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Actually, my basic question is that if you read the energy of a person, can you do some change in that? Is it possible that you change something in his future potential?
Absolutely. And shall I cover one aspect and you cover the other? So once I identify a future potential in a person, I will endeavor to get them to accept that. And usually they'll say to me, yeah, actually, I knew that. I'm not doing anything with it. I will then endeavor to empower them, enable them to take that energy and do something with it. I will tell them what they could do with it. I'll quote examples of what can be done, just to empower people. So that will change perhaps decisions about their careers, because often people are in the wrong career, and that comes up in the reading as well.
So change in this energy will come from your side or from that person?
It can be a combination of the two. I am inspired. I'm connected when I work. I'm connected to the universal energies, the spirit energies all the time. And I am open to inspiration, suggestion, whatever they want to give me. So there was an example the other day when I was talking to this lady, and I got this thing in my head, ask her about her diet. Okay, so I said, I'm told to talk to you about your diet, how you eat. And she just looked at me and said, how do you know that? And I said, well, I don't really. I was just told to do it. It turned out she had a colossal problem with her relationship with food, which she was trying to solve. So that we then gave her a different way of looking at it.
Okay.
Not just going to Slimmer's World, actually viewing it differently. So that's perhaps a little example. You change the energy in a different way.
It's the same,
don't
I change the energy in healing. When I do my healings, again, it's working with the energy. So the universal energy, energy comes through me, through the healing. Once I've done the healing, balanced everything. So that's balanced the energy field. So you're in tip-top condition, if you like. You've just come out of the garage with your big service, and that's great. But what you need to know is where the energy is going, where the blockages are, which is what I will give you, so that in the future, for the next year, you can say to yourself, that was a problem before. Now I know how to get out of that, if you like. Now I know how to help myself with that. So I empower you to be able to help yourself and manage your own energy field, so that you're in control and you have the power.
I think, do you have another?
Does that make sense?
Right. Do you have another question based on what we just said?
Okay.
Makes sense.
It's all right.
So I think for the moment it's clear now.
Okay, good.
Come in mind, I'll be there.
Yeah, you'll get. There'll be other opportunities.
Don't crash your taxi while you're driving.
No, actually, my friend is driving. Not me.
That's all right then. That's okay. All right.
Thank you.
So I think we have the others are ladies. Ladies, do you have any questions? Now somebody's started, or are we all happy with everything?
All happy.
So we might have 3 mediums here, so sort of people with mediumistic ability. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit now about, I've mentioned spirit people. I'm going to talk about what is a spirit person. So a spirit person is the energy field of someone who's been here and had a physical life like we are. But the physical body has died, as ours will, but the energy field, with all its characteristics, emotions, memories, experiences, is released from the body by the chakras, and it rejoins the energy of the spirit world. The physical body has died. It will be disposed of. It's like an old car. We don't need it anymore. We're done with it. Once we go back to the spirit world, our vehicle for this lifetime is no longer required. But the energy field is released back. So in other words, your energy field is your spirit. And when an energy field, a spirit energy field, blends with mine, it's going to make me different. I'm going to start picking up on those characteristics, those memories, how that person passed to the spirit world. In other words, what killed them. all those things are going to come. So a lot of people are a bit nervous about spirit people, or ghosts as they're sometimes called. So what I say to people like that, I say, well, just remember, one day you will be one of them. Because one day we will leave this planet and we will all go back to being spirit people. We started off as a spirit, and that spirit of ours, that energy field, joined that physical body of ours for this lifetime while it was in our mother's womb being grown for us. That physical body is our vehicle for this lifetime. It carries us along life's path until the time comes when our life is over and we return to spirit. But it is our energy field, which by then has got a lot more impressions, a lot more experiences in it from this lifetime, returns to the spirit world where it came from. So that's all there is to a spirit person. And people say, oh, well, they're scary, they do bad things. Well, they're only scary because you didn't understand what they were. And do they do bad things? Actually not. Their biggest problem is they want to draw attention to themselves, because nobody's paying more, nobody much apart from people like us are paying any attention to them. So they don't have a voice. So sometimes they draw attention to themselves, so the person will take notice. So I can quote you an example of one of our mediumship students from one of our previous courses in Dubai. Yeah, his psychic reading is just ace. It's second to none. And when we got him into the spirit reading, he did it really well. But he said, oh my goodness, how am I doing that? I don't believe in these things. So we said, okay, we'll keep practicing, keep coming back. We'll see what we do. But then things in his apartment started moving and getting broken. And this sort of went on, and he had 2 really nice vases broken, even though the second one he'd wedged it so it couldn't possibly fall, but it did. And what the spirit world were doing was getting his attention and saying, actually, you know what, we're here and we can do these things. So ever since then, he has changed his attitude and he's had no more breakages. So this is sort of why they do it. They're just drawing attention to themselves. That's all that there is to spirit people. So you want to talk a bit more about that blend of energy again.
So basically just talking about, back to the keyboard, about this blend of energy, whether it's from
that one,
psychic or spirit, and we're doing spirit at the moment, this blend of energy here, right? So what's happened is the spirit world will give us information. Okay, so you're the medium, I'm the medium, say here. So we get a bit like the psychic, we're getting information from the spirit world here, passes through us, through to this energy blend here, into the chakras, up the nervous system, up to the brain, and gives us the impression or feeling or whatever it is we're getting. So, but all the time, this spirit person is giving us evidence, giving us information for our thoughts or through our impressions or through our feelings, which we'll go into in a minute. All sorts of different ways, if you like, it can get into us to give us information to say, look, this is what I am, this is where I am, this is who I am. I've come for this person, say, for example. So this could be, I don't know, say a grandfather, and it gives information to us, the medium, that we can pass to the client here that says, I know who that is. I know exactly who that is. And that's what we want to do. They want to give us evidence to say, you know, hello, my body might have been disposed of, but I'm still here. The energy and all the characteristics and everything that I used to be on the earth is still here in my energy. And that's all it is. So it's in my energy, and they just want a voice. And this is the same with the healing as well. They're passing the healing through me that I pass to the client, and then I give the client a bit of knowledge as to where the healing's going, where the blockages are, and how you can manage it yourself. But that's basically all it is. It's energy, energy to energy. How does it make me feel? Energy to energy, how does it make me feel? So if we know how we're feeling at the start of any reading or any mediumistic thing or any healing, if we know how we're feeling mentally, physically and emotionally, any other feelings that we get in or any other things that we get in coming into our energy field, it can't be us because we know how we're feeling. So it must be the other person. And then we can relate that to the client so they understand who that person is.
So we are literally acting as channels with our mediumship. So it's passing through us, whether it's information about a spirit person, whether it's some wisdom, whatever it is, whether it's inspiration to compose music or paint a picture, all of these things that it's the universe, the spirit world want to give us. They make use of our mediumistic abilities. Sometimes we pass it on to other people working as mediums as we do. Sometimes we just use it for ourselves. And Mozart is supposed to have written all his music by divine inspiration. He just suddenly got it. It just suddenly came in, and it would have come in this way.
Church was at 4. Yeah. At 4 he was doing stuff.
Exactly. He was doing things when he was very young he could never have done because he didn't have the knowledge, but it came through the mediumship, the channeling. And a lot of information comes to this planet in this way.
So it all comes through a different set of senses, which we're going to show you in a minute.
Yeah, I want to do those next, actually. If you could get me that slide. Right, so these are, this is your, oh yes, so for those people here, the audience, do you know how many senses you've got? How many do you think you've got? Oh, we've got the silence again. Well, we get an a big range of answers to this question that range from 4 to 24. But to just give you one more chance, how many senses have you got? So the gentleman, what do you reckon? No, he doesn't know. Yeah. No. Can you? Yeah, you're muted. We can't hear you. Can you put it in? You can't put it in the chat.
Oh yeah. My call was disconnected. That's why I didn't understand. What?
Okay. So how many senses do you think you've got?
It's really sorry. I did not get what I will.
How many senses do you think you have?
I think 5 physical and 1 is 6th sense, which we call.
Yeah, that's our intuition, gut feeling. You're absolutely correct. Those are your senses of this world, the world, the material world we can see. However, you have another 6 senses, which we have on the screen now, which are the clair senses. And here you will see the word clairvoyance. And this is the only place it fits in correctly. It's used in lots of other ways which aren't correct. This is where it belongs. It is your clear vision. It is a higher vibrational sense of sight, which the spirit world are able to use to give us pictures. Objectively, if you see them out in the room, like I see people, Mike sees them like that. He sees them like another person in the room. I see them in my head, which is subjective. Clairaudience, the hearing, objective, hearing it out in the room, subjective, hearing it in your head. Clairsentience is feelings. So I might pick up that a spirit person is feeling angry or impatient, which is a characteristic of theirs. Or I might have a feeling about how they pass to the spirit world, but that's using that sense of mine. Clairolfactience, smells. So maybe they give me a smell of perfume, if that's what they were known for, or pipe smoke, cigar smoke, anything they want to do that's going to give information about them. Clairgustience is tastes. So if they're a chocoholic, or they were when they were here, taste of chocolate. Could be taste of raw onion, anything they want to give. And then clair-knowing, there's the 6th sense, the intuition. And that's when we just know what we have to say. I just know, suddenly I know what the spirit person wants me to say. So there you have the clair senses, which is how the spirit people bridge the vibrational gap between their world and ours. Because we vibrate long, slow, and heavy here. They vibrate high, fine, and fast. So we need to bridge that gap. And it's these senses which we all possess that they will choose to use. They'll just pick which one they want to make use of in us. So it's quite nice when they work with it, actually. You really sort of feel connected and get the information. So that's one part of the deal, if you like, when we're operating with the spirit world. But then there's a very important aspect to this. It's what we call the backstage crew. So I think we might get a picture of that up in a minute. You not got that
Well,
one? No, that's okay.
I'll get it. Let me get a picture of it.
It's all right. We can do without it. No, it's okay. It's all right.
Okay.
That's okay.
Light is okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. In your backstage crew, the most important person is the backstage crew manager, which is your doorkeeper. And it is that doorkeeper that is going to manage your reading for you, or manage what you're doing with spirit people. And he is going to, Mike calls him the bouncer, because he's going to stop mischief makers coming in. He's going to stop too many people coming in at once, so it gets confusing. And he knows, so in our case, both of our doorkeepers are men, and we both have a contract with the spirit world. No, I don't. So I finished with it actually. Okay. Oh no, he's got it now. Okay, sorry for the delay. So there's the medium sat on the line between the spirit world and the earth, and there coming into the medium's energy is the spirit person, and behind that is the spirit person's guide, who's come to keep him company or her company. There's the doorkeeper who manages everything. There's a couple of other guides, but it doesn't matter for the point of view of this talk.
He looks after all this.
He's your manager, and you don't have to worry about anything behind the scenes. No mischief makers, no trouble. He's the bouncer. He'll keep it all organized so that you can pick up information, if you're doing this sort of work, from the spirit person to give out to your client or to an audience, if that's the way you work. Or, you know, sometimes people just do this to receive information for themselves. It just depends on the person. I started out like that, just wanting something for myself, and it kind of evolved from there. But that's the backstage crew. So that's quite a lot of information we've added in there. So I'm just going to stop a minute there to see if there's any questions, because we're going to move on to something a little bit different. Anything?
I will ask one question.
Sure.
Please.
Why that person from spirit world will help me or the client or someone?
This is coming next, the benefits, isn't it?
What? Can you just say that again? Why will it help you?
Why will it help you?
No, he said.
Yeah, why they are interested to help me, to tell you something about me?
Because these spirit people that come through will be your people. So I don't know who you've got in the spirit world, but let's say you've got a father and a grandmother and a grandfather. Well, they are all your loved ones, and they will see your life here as the bigger picture of it, and they'll want to help you. Maybe you're going through a very difficult period in your life. They want to support you. Maybe you're grieving for one of them. They'll want to say, I'm all right, it's okay. And they'll want to give you information. But above all, they'll want to communicate, because that's what human beings do. And just because you left your body behind doesn't mean you'll feel anything different.
That's right. So what do you do if you go on an aeroplane somewhere? I know you can't at the moment. Or if you go on a holiday, you know, your loved ones, when you get there, you just want to phone them and say, hello, I've arrived, I'm here, and I'm feeling okay. And the plane was good and the journey was good. And I'm all right.
Hotel's rubbish.
You know, and please, if you've got any problem, just I'll be there for you. You know, that's what you do. So why wouldn't they do the same?
Yeah. I get.
Yeah, I get. But we were just going to actually, ladies, have you got any questions?
I think the ladies are all intuitive, they know.
I think they know, yes. Yes.
Ladies.
Well, hopefully they do.
Good.
I mean, if you don't want to speak, do put it in the chat box if there's anything we can help you with. No, okay. That's all right. So I'm just going to say a tiny bit about the benefits of psychic readings. Why would I read somebody psychically beyond that basic feeling that everybody gets? Well, I can give people in a psychic reading a clear sense about themselves and who they really are. We all wear different faces, different hats according to what we're doing in our lives. But underneath all of that is the true spirit. And I will find that in somebody and present it to them so they get clarity. I can sense direction for people, and I can give them a sense of purpose once I've got this knowledge of their energy fields. So obviously that's a pretty brief description, but it is just illustrating what mediumship can do. And you don't have to be a medium to do this. You can use it. We have one man who uses this in his career so that he understands his employees better. People use it so that they can deal with other human beings in a more empathetic, understanding way. There's all kinds of aspects. Teachers use it to understand their pupils better. It's a huge ranging subject.
That's right.
And you want to talk
so
about
the benefits
the
again of a psychic reading, which is what I do within the healing side of it. So when I'm doing the healing, after I've done the healing, I get to know where the blockages are, where the weaknesses are, and I give that to you. So it's a way of repairing. I also repair it, obviously, but then I also give you the knowledge that you can do this yourself. You can repair it yourself. And also, if there's a little bit of a weakness in one particular area, one particular chakra or whatever it is, I can work with you so that you can always manage that, because it's empowering for you. I want you to be empowered. I want you to go away and be able to manage your life and yourself and your own body and your own functions and everything else that goes with it. That then synchronizes everything, keeps everything in tip-top condition, and helps you live and be as healthy as you can be.
Be the best you can, which is what we all want to be. And that's what we want people to be. And we actually don't like people coming for readings and healings too often. Obviously, people come because different things happen in their lives, but we actually want people to understand it for themselves, use their own mediumship. And you touched on the why would spirit people want to come. So what are the benefits of a mediumistic or a spirit reading? Well, it is that sense of reunion when you actually know who that spirit person is, and you suddenly realize, actually, although you've buried their body or disposed of the body, they're actually around. They're still around you, and you will see them again. It gives you the evidence of there is proof. It's proof of life beyond the death of the physical body. And that's a huge comfort for people. And once you've experienced it yourself, then you will be left in no doubt whatsoever. I can do it for anybody. I can prove it to anybody with the help of a spirit person. But when you can do it yourself, that's awesome. When we first get a student and they get their first experience of sensing a spirit person, they never forget it that first time. Never forget it. And because it does give you that absolute evidence that life goes on, and then you get nosy and you want to know what they're doing over there. So there's all kinds of books and things on that subject. So it's a big subject that mediumship opens up. But we've all got that basic equipment that we can use to discover these things for ourselves. You just need it waking up in you.
That's it. So you all have the abilities. You all have mediumship within you. It just needs fine tuning. It just needs bringing out. It's a bit like a radio when you turn the radio on, you know, and sometimes you have to fine tune it just to get a better sound, a better quality. If you turn it from radio 1, say, I don't know, to radio 2, radio 1's still there, even though you're listening to radio 2, but sometimes you just have to tune it back in just to pull it forward. Does that make sense? And that's how that is. So this is what we do, again, with Illuminations, readings and healings. Sandy does the readings and I do the healings. We work together in lots of ways, but this particular aspect, that's how
those we don't. On the teaching courses we do, we teach together.
Yeah, that's right. We do hour sessions, each one of us, which you can have if you wish via Illuminations. We also do 20-minute free taster sessions, and again, that's just giving you an idea of how we work, what we do, a little tiny bit of a maybe a bit of psychic or maybe a tiny bit of healing within that. But obviously in 20 minutes you can only do so much. But that's all available. But it's good. Sometimes that's, you know, that's all available for you. For
if you want to develop your inherent mediumistic skills, then we do with Illuminations run a foundation course, an advanced course, and a teacher training course. The next foundation course starts next Friday, which is a 6-week course of 1.5 hour sessions. And in that, we will take you from wherever you are with your mediumistic abilities all the way through to knowing all you need to do and experiencing every aspect of mediumship. Then some people choose to go on to the advanced. At the end of that 6-week course, you would be in a position to do a reading for somebody else. So a professional reading, if you like, of a simple type, and then you build on that yourself through experience. But that all comes through those sessions. And some people just do the foundation course because they want to understand more about their ability and can I really do this? So they just come to play. But actually, the ones that come to play usually go on to do the most work.
That's right. They're very good.
Because they suddenly
I will
realise.
answer a question in a minute in the chat box. Yeah, just to say that the foundation course is giving you the foundation of all this. So the advance is allowing you to build the building blocks upwards and upwards as far as you want to go. And these courses are certificated as well.
Yeah,
from our charity, that you do get a certificate, like a little diploma saying that you've passed this course
now competent,
and you've understood it.
And not everybody passes, so don't think we just hand these out.
We're not too soft. Well, we are a little bit.
No, they don't always pass. It depends.
Just
really.
ask
we got
a question
something
in the chat box.
Hooray.
Dale,
Who have we got? Adele, is it?
I'm trying to get at it. Computer's playing up. No, I don't know, for some unknown reason. It's not
there it's up there. Do spirits guide something. Can you put it back? It was there. Can you click on the box again? I saw it up.
I see. It's gone funny. Do spirit guides ever lie?
Oh, what a question.
Cool. Never heard that one before. Okay.
No, we haven't.
Right. I would say no.
No.
I don't.
They wouldn't get to be a guide.
There's not a lot of point. Yeah, being a guide. You know what the word guides mean. You're actually guiding someone. So you're guiding somebody from the spirit world. Well, it might be a spirit wanting to come through for a loved one. It might be a guide using it as a guide for healing or for communication. If they lie, there will be no point, because if we ever found out, we wouldn't be a voice for them again. I wouldn't be a voice for them again.
There's
other things.
There's another aspect to that. They wouldn't be allowed to be a guide if they weren't trustworthy. So there's a lot of law and order in the spirit world. They do like to keep things as they should be where human beings are concerned. And I'll just give you one slightly disjointed example of this. But my ex-father-in-law was he was pretty arrogant. So when he passed on, I thought, well, he'll be through pretty quick. He'll have a lot to say from over there. It was ages before he came. And he hadn't been allowed to come until he learned humility. He had to learn to be trusted and humble. So when we've got another question here.
Yeah, well, it's part of the same, I think. Do spirit guides lie? Or is someone believes so strongly they didn't do something, but they did? Do the spirit guides pick up on the belief that they didn't do something, or does the guide actually know the truth about that person?
That's the easy answer to that one. The guide knows. There's no secrets, because the energy, everything is contained in the energy. And once you get to the spirit world, you'll look back at this world and you'll know everything, because you'll know all the knowledge of however many lifetimes you've had here. Problem is, when we get back here, we forget. We don't remember till we go back to the spirit world. But everybody in the spirit world is fully aware of everything.
But there's no condemnation.
There's no hiding place.
But there's no condemnation in it as well,
no
because
judgment.
We're all learning. No judgment at all. This is a learning planet, and we're all learning. And we get back to the spirit world, hoping to get back at a higher vibration than when we left, so that each time, each life, or whatever we have, whatever it is, and we've learned something, we can go back a bit higher, and then learn a bit more and go back a bit higher, because we all want to achieve to be the greatest we can. We all want to get to the highest being that we can, if you like, the highest vibration. That's our goal, that's our aim.
So mediumship, just to pull this together a bit then, mediumship, which contains clairvoyance as one of the things that is used, it exists in us all so that we can communicate truly and properly. So the Aborigines, if you mix with Aborigines who live naturally, they just thought read all the time. They just know. And they're aware of their ancestors around them at all times, so they can receive information and guidance from those people. It's only us who live in the so-called civilized world, which is too fast and too noisy and too shiny and artificial. We've kind of lost it. So rekindling that mediumship within you will give you a greater knowledge of yourself, a greater understanding of those people you come into contact with, and an awareness and comprehension and knowledge of what we call the unseen world, the spirit world. And that's what it's all about, really. So it's just waking up something you've all got and getting you to use it.
Right. And it's using your senses properly, whether they be physical senses or the clair senses or whatever. It's using them all properly so that we can gain and be at peace with that knowledge.
So possibly one more question. We can stretch it a bit. Come on, ladies.
Is there
No,
is there any side effect or danger in this course or in this process?
no,
Because
no.
we don't want to become ghost much earlier.
No,
Ghost is
No.
a funny word. It's not quite what it seems.
we only go to the spirit world at the time we are supposed to go. The spirit world are not allowed to interfere with that process. And I mentioned earlier on your doorkeeper, everybody who works or furthers their knowledge of mediumship is automatically allocated a doorkeeper in the spirit world. And that doorkeeper's job is to make sure that nobody's a nuisance to you. That spirit people don't wake you up at 4 in the morning because they want to have a chat. That's not on. It's not on at all. You make your contract, which we help with on the foundation course. We help you to do that. And you say how you want it to be. And in terms of, there's a lot of rumors about bad spirits. Well, there's more bad people on this planet than there are spirits in the spirit world. It's just different levels.
It's a bit like if you decided you're going to have a party and you've invited 10 of your best friends and it's a lovely party and everyone's behaving nicely. If you put that advert on Facebook and you say everybody's welcome, you're going to get gate crashers. You're going to get someone come in and try and muck your party up or have too many drinks. Just, it's a bit like that. It's all organised, so it's fine.
It's a lot to do with integrity as
Absolutely.
well. So when we teach this and when we work with this, we work with integrity for the good of humanity. We're not mucking about with it.
Right.
It's a little bit different to somebody who has a few bottles of wine and a Ouija board and a funny evening with their friends. That's not, you could expect problems there.
It's not correct. It's not doing it in a nice way. It's not integrity.
No, it's not respecting it. So we teach respect and awareness with this.
If you respect your fellow man on the earth, you respect your fellow man on the energy. It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully that answers your question. Good.
Okay. So thank you all for coming. If you want to book on the foundation course, which starts next Friday, you just phone Illuminations and they will point you in the right direction. We welcome everybody. We'd love to have you there, but we really hope that this talk, this webinar, has given you a greater insight into what you're capable of.
Thanks, Adele.
What's he said? Definitely. Oh, good.
If you need anything else,
actually, if any of you have any further questions, you could book a 20-minute session with us. We don't work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're coming into days off now. We do 4 days on, 3 days off. But Thursday, you can make a 20-minute appointment if you wanted to ask any questions, or Friday morning, whatever. So,
good evening.
Oh, hello, Relly.
Hello.
I'm sorry, I didn't say anything till now. I'm quite shy.
That's all right. I'm like you, really. It's just I've just got used to this. I used to be like you.
Yeah, I would love to book a session with you since I'm not very sure about my abilities. Sometimes I know I contact spirits. Other time it's not spirits. It's happening to me from time to time to read people's minds.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is
it's actually the psychic side of it. It sounds to me like your abilities are fine. They've actually, yours are already on the move by the feel of it. But if you want to book a 20-minute session, I can't do it for you. You have to phone Illuminations. They run our diary.
Yeah.
They know what else we're doing, but I know you could get a session on Thursday if you wanted it.
And I'm facing blockages quite often. Sometimes it's happening that I don't feel anything for days, and so I'm feeling useful.
It's usually because you haven't got enough peace and quiet in your life. So we do teach you how to clear a space, how not to collect clutter from the world. So yeah, it's quite useful, really. But once you're a bit more settled, the more settled you are, the more space you give in your mind, the more that you're able to pick up on other people.
All right.
That makes sense.
The most blockages I feel It's like when I feel like goosebumps on different parts of my body, because
Yeah.
I know to make the difference between proper goosebumps from an emotional impact or if I'm cold, it's different sensation. But there are specific type of goosebumps, and I know that someone is there, or
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm trying to contact whoever is there, but I get no answer at all. I don't know how.
Yeah, that's because, yes,
How I should manage
that's
this.
one of the things we teach is to how you start picking up, fine-tuning your reception ability.
All right, then I will book a session.
And knowing the difference between what's you and what's them. That's
sorry, knowing the difference?
The difference when you're sort of trying to get in touch with them. Human beings tend to try too hard. You just have to sit and be and allow it to come in. And that's a gradual process. And in today's world, gradual doesn't exist. It's all fast. We want it now, if not yesterday. Whereas this is a sort of a gradual development of the ability and the trust that what you're getting is what you're getting. So yeah, book a session, Raluca, and we'll help you.
Will do. Thank you so much.
That's all right.
Thank you for organizing.
Yeah, that's all right. So I think we need to get off the air now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's been an absolute pleasure to be with you all.
Likewise.
Okay. All right then.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy your evening.
Have a safe evening.
Okay.
You too. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.